On this week's episode, we talk about the Call of the Wild.
Yes, and we also talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Outsider, Avenue 5, any other show.
Yeah, maybe some other stuff. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so we just got back from watching... It's calling! I have to go. We're so funny.
You just got home from Call of the Wild.
The 20th Century Studios film.
Yeah, it's with Harrison Ford, a dog, and some other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the book. I never read the book. I didn't know it was a book. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. Really well photographed by the great Janusz Kaminski. And was very entertaining. It was very... the CGI used in the dogs for the expressions, I thought it was pretty cool. There's a scene when Buck, the main dog, meets the other dogs. He walks by the leader, and the leader does like expressions like very... that they would do on Disney animation, for instance. And talking about Disney animation, I thought this one was like, it's a Fox, or formerly known as Fox Studios film, but it was like it could definitely be a Disney movie.
Totally a Disney movie.
Yeah, but really well done. And they had some of the no surprises on the plot. Some stuff that happens. I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna happen. Anyways. I really liked it, considering that it's a dog movie. I usually don't like. There's very few dog movies that I like it.
Yeah. Did you see Old Yeller?
No.
It's one of like the first films that makes people cry.
No.
Like children.
That doesn't mean I would cry. But but I saw some really good ones. I saw. I thought Marley and Me was a decent effort. That
was a surprisingly good film.
What's the other one? The recent ones, the Chinese Hashiko. I think it's Hashiko.
Oh yeah, it's
Gere.
Japanese.
Yeah, the story is Japanese, but it's an American movie with Richard Gere.
The Akita who meets his master at this train station.
Yes. Yeah. There's another one that I should say. What? Oh, the dog movies. Oh, crap. Yeah.
I don't remember, because I feel like dog movies can get just kind of cheesy and predictable and trite.
Especially the most recent ones. They did what? It was a dog's journey and then a dog's story. They created a sequence. That was. It was.
To be fair, we didn't actually see those, but.
Yeah, but the dog speaks. The dog speaks. When the dog speaks, no, they lose me. I don't. No. Well.
Which brings us to an interesting point about this, or what I thought was interesting. So the book, as I recall, from that time that I read it, like 20 years ago, is told from the dog's point of view, more or less. Like, I mean, not that the dog is narrating, but, like, we get a lot of, like, his inner monologue and kind of what he's seeing and feeling and thinking and all that. So I was really curious how they would do this in a movie. Because that's, like, the big thing. And I guess one of the big tricky things about adapting a book to the screen, these are such different media. And in a book, you can really get into somebody's inner thoughts. You don't have to say things. You can think things and feel things, and the author can just tell you. But in a film, they have to show you. We have to be able to see it, or someone has to say it.
And how they did, they paid Harrison Ford the big bucks so he could be the narrator. And I thought it was, that brings
also,
people to the movies. I don't know if others,
That's why you decided to see it.
I would never watch a dog movie because of a dog. I went because of Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Which is fair. He did a great job. But the big thing they did in this that I was impressed by, first of all, the dogs don't talk. They're just very expressive, which he already talked about. But then the Call of the Wild and Buck's awakening, like, lupine instincts are shown as every now and then he'll look up and he'll see this, like, big, mystical, oversized black wolf with glowing yellow eyes. And that's sort of the call of the wild. As I describe it, it sounds kind of dumb, but it was cool in the movie.
And how is that in the book? How is the call in the book?
It's just things that he sees, or like things that he feels. He also starts having these flashbacks, these memories to like primordial man, like, you know, cavemen domesticating wolves. Wow. He starts having flashbacks to that.
But it's not like a voice, right? Like,
no.
Buck.
No, the call of the wild is not a literal call. This is definitely a PG adaptation. Like, literally, the film is rated PG. It is a PG adaptation of what I would consider a PG-13 book. A lot of the alterations and adaptations were kind of predictable. Like, what you would expect if you know the original story. John Thornton is not killed by Alaska natives or Yukon natives. He's killed by a money-grubbing, crazy white guy with a gun.
Yeah, gold fever, crazy white man that wants gold.
Jerk.
Is gold a thing on the book? Is that?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why everybody's there.
Oh, okay.
The
No,
Yukon Gold Rush was a real thing.
I know, but so, like on this one, it was like it
they
created
really
the
toned
villain.
Down. They really toned down. Like, John Thornton is actually a prospector, like in the book. Okay. And this, he's not like.
Well, he was, but he
sort of fell into it. He said over and over again.
No, but before his tragedy, he was wasn't he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that scene in the beginning was like, I'm not looking for gold anymore.
Oh.
So he was.
Okay. Either way, they kind of made him a little bit nicer and more sympathetic. They also toned down a lot of the violence.
Oh, yeah, dog violence.
No, like people violence, like the, you know, people beating the dogs. That was toned down. It still happens, but it was toned down quite a bit. Yeah, we don't actually see people drown in the river.
Even the CGI, like you don't get in troubles with PETA.
Not just PETA. It's just a horrible thing to watch an animal be beaten.
But it was especially CGI. A dog.
But the whole point of the CGI is to look realistic.
Yeah, but I mean...
I don't know, even if it's a cartoon, I don't want to see people beat a dog.
I guess. Unless the dog is bad.
I don't know.
If the dog eats your leg, you want it to be
okay, well, that's a very different situation. This is a bad guy beating a very nice dog. So, if you're looking for a true-to-the-book Call of the Wild, you came to the wrong place. This film came from Disney. They're not going to do a true-to-the-book adaptation. But it was a really... It was a lovely film.
But this movie doesn't come from Disney, it's Fox.
Owned by...
Ah, come on, that doesn't
You said it yourself, like it's basically a Disney movie.
I said it could be a Disney movie, but it has more quality to it, you know. Disney movie would be like a song and the dog like running and wind. Yeah.
This is a family-friendly version of Call of the Wild. No, it's not Beethoven. It's not Beethoven, but it's very much a family-friendly. Think what Disney's animated Tarzan did to the Edgar Rice Burroughs novel.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, the animated.
Oh, the animated. I thought you were talking about the one with Skarsgård, the live action.
Oh, no.
With Margot Robbie. Yeah, I did say that one.
Okay. Either way, super entertaining. Don't hold on too tight to the book, and you'll be able to enjoy a beautiful film. Because at the end of the day, this is all shot in just the majestic, great white north, and the scenery and the wildlife is just so beautiful.
Yeah. And the movie theater was fairly full, you know, considering, you know, I honestly never heard about the book before. I mean, just
it's
looking
one of the
how
great
many
American
people,
classics.
You know how many people are there. I expect a decent weekend. Good, opening weekend. I'm trying to remember the other dog movie that I like. I can't. But again,
you must not have liked it that much.
Very few, and yeah, definitely this one was good. Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of good things, I keep trying to make good segues and it just never really works. It's always awkward and
Speaking
contrived.
of good things,
Whatever. Speaking of good things, this segue is not one of them. HBO has been, HBO series are always fantastic. But Larry David's back with another season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, did you talk about that?
I don't know, but let's chat for a second about where we're at right now.
But yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David being Larry David and being paid for it. And
He's done a very good job of getting paid what I assume is a lot of money to talk about how awkward and socially inept he is. Like, that's basically the series, right?
Yeah. In the first episode, they make some really good jokes about the whole Me Too movement and Jeff.
Oh.
The fact that Jeff looks like
Poor Jeff
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've covered, Me Too. There was just a great trip to Mexico, which I thought brought up some fun issues about, like, body image and weight and all that. Nobody would admit how much they weigh.
Yeah. And on this season, Larry is on a war against Mocha Joe.
Yeah, he's opening a Spite store right next to Mocha Joe's called, what is it, Latte Larry's?
Latte Larry's, yeah.
Yeah. He's designed a brand new urinal. I feel like we're going to have...
What's it called? I can't remember. He gave a name for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
P-Cube.
P-Cube, yes.
It's the P-Cube.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a bit more... Like, so far we've only seen the P-Cube as a design and then a prototype. I feel like we're going to have some encounters with...
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to happen. It's going to be a major plot device at some point in the near future.
Yeah, so far the season is going hilarious as usual with the customary cameos. We saw it already. We saw Clive Owen being pissed at Larry because, Larry is the type of guy that
he didn't
win the hearts of people. He's so charming that he asked a woman in 2020, "Hey, can you throw away my gum?" Ugh. A stranger.
You know what? I don't care what
and she ends up with him.
She goes on a date with him. She goes with him to Cabo. I mean, a free trip to Cabo, whatever. But, like, still.
Yeah.
Gross. Gross.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, I feel like it's living up to... I feel like the danger when a show that's been on for a while keeps going, there's always the danger that it's just not going to live up. But so far, this is totally living up to previous seasons.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. What else is pretty good, you ask? Avenue 5.
Armando Iannucci new show about the space cruise.
Yeah.
That goes gonzo.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Horribly hungry. So this is the latest from Armando Iannucci, who you might know and love from Veep, right? He's the guy who did Veep.
Yeah, Veep.
Yeah.
In the Loop. We just saw a trailer for his new movie called... What's the movie called?
Oh, it's
David
Copperfield, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Which means I actually have to read that. I like movies based on Dickens novels. I've struggled with the actual Dickens novels, but I'm going to make it through it for this movie. Anyway, Avenue 5. So funny.
Yeah, Dickens was actually very a big responsible for the rise of cinema, the way he told stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Like, what about his stories?
The way he tells stories inspired the original filmmakers to tell stories same way, with image.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not one specific story, the way he would tell a story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, kids. Dickens is part of film history. But for reals now, Avenue 5.
Yeah, Hugh Laurie is the biggest name probably.
Yeah.
He's the captain.
Or is he?
Or pseudo captain.
Mm-hmm.
And this cruise through space in the near future fails and they stranded in space because the trajectories of the ship were messed up because someone dies, and they stranded in space for 6 years. Is that it?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. It was
And
supposed to be
6
like
months.
an 8-week cruise.
Yeah.
Or so like ballpark 8-week cruise. Out, to Saturn and back, as one does. And honestly, I feel like it's one of the more, in some ways it's totally outlandish. It's a comedy. But it's a kind of a more realistic version of space travel than we usually see. Like the fact that this tiny little glitch has thrown them off by years.
I like it. It's pretty funny. I
Mhm.
think
It's clever.
Yanucci realized his work. He creates great characters. They're hilarious. And once you get to know them and fall in love with them, you hooked. And was that with In the Loop? It was that with Veep. And I think I like the show. It's funny, but it's still getting to know the characters enough to,
He doesn't write characters that are terribly good people.
Well, that's
which I think is interesting because you do care
funny.
about them. Yeah, no, I mean they're hilarious, but you do start to kind of carry, like you're invested in them, and it's not because like they're great heroes. It's just he just writes great human characters. In this case, my favorites are portrayed by Zach Woods, Josh Gad, and then of course Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
Who's always a delight. Always. Okay, what else is HBO doing for us?
I think that's it, right?
Outsider?
Oh, The Outsider. It's a show about an outsider.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week, guys. No, The Outsider is based on a Stephen King novel about. You go ahead.
About
It starts
outsiders.
with murder.
Yeah, it's okay. So this show is not. This is like total tonal shift from Avenue 5. Avenue 5 is like hilarious, satirical,
Family
all the rest.
friendly. No, it's
no,
not family
no, it's
friendly.
HBO. Outsider is like a mystery with a dash of horror. It starts with the murder of a kid, and Jason Bateman. Like, there's a ton of evidence, right? Like, fingerprints and blood types and DNA and all the rest. Obviously, he did it. Except, he wasn't there. He was somewhere else, like 70 miles away.
And there's also evidence that proves that he was not there.
Yeah.
So a twin, you might think?
It's never the twin. Never lupus. Never a twin.
And...
Yeah, so now we've got to figure out...
all that? You're gonna go beyond that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But basically, like, the plot of the show is figuring out, like, what happened. Who did this? How is this possible?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. And I love the pilot and even the second episode because it's what shows in the trailer that this guy did it, but did he?
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see what remains with the rest of the show because there's more to it. And it's Stephen King. You know how I feel about Stephen King. He starts really well. And then somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the end, he does something that the audience was like, what the heck, dude? Did you fall and hit your head?
But for now, we've got a compelling mystery and a pretty fantastic set of characters.
Yeah.
I think. Interesting people. I'm super invested. And a wonderful performance by the actor. I can't remember his name, but he's Director Krennic in Rogue One. That guy. He's delivering a great performance, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the show.
Yes. Yeah. I guess, yeah. We don't want to spoil, but it's good. Yeah. Okay. The Outsider on HBO. Avenue 5 as well, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Are they all Sunday shows? I think so, right?
I don't know. We watch everything.
Because Curb
we stream everything.
and Avenue 5, they are Sunday shows. I don't know about The Outsider. Anyways, that's it for this week. Anything else?
No, I think that's plenty. Especially because we have a couple episodes of The Outsider to watch. So...
Yeah, so see you next week when we're going to talk about more news.
More movies.
Movies, TV, games, books. I know books. Anyways.
Let's be realistic.
May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper, nerds.
Bye.